Welcome to Nicholas 11x12. Today I'm once again looking at another mini PC or TV box, however you may want to call it. This time around it's the Ugoos UT4 featuring Android 5.1. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the name. Is it Ugoos, Ugoos, or maybe even different than that? I'm not sure. Well, the UT4 currently comes in at about $105, which seems very competitive compared to mini PCs of the competition with similar hardware. Thanks a lot to Ugoos for providing me this mini PC for the review. Inside the box we find the UT4 mini PC itself, a dual-band Wi-Fi antenna, an IR remote control, an HDMI cable, very kind of Ugoos to include one. Then there of course is the 5V 3A power adapter, and USB 2.0 cable, and last but not least, the user's manual. The very first impression of this UT4 device is really good actually. It does look fairly minimalistic and well built, and I gotta tell you, it certainly is well built. I'm glad Ugoos decided not to go with a glossy surface unlike many other mini PC manufacturers tend to do. Instead, the whole surface is rubberized and doesn't attract as much dust as glossy ones would do. I personally really happen to like the way this device looks. I should also let you know this device is not only available in black but also in white. The UT4 is equipped with the Rockchip RK3368 8-core 64-bit CPU clocked at up to 1.5 GHz. As expected, it's accompanied by the PowerVR Rogue G6110 GPU. My specific model comes with 16 GB of internal storage, along with 2 GB of RAM. The UT4, however, is also available in 8 and 32 GB versions in terms of storage. Operating system, Android 5.1 Lollipop is installed. Now let's take a quick look around the device. Here we have the power button, some ventilation holes, the Wi-Fi antenna connection. Speaking of Wi-Fi, dual-band 2.4 GHz, 5 GHz IEEE 802.11 BGN is supported. Of course, Bluetooth 4.0 is also supported. Now on this side we have the DC 5V 3A power input, an optical SPDIF audio output, the HDMI video output, 2 USB 2.0 ports, one RJ45 Gigabit LAN Ethernet port, and now on the other side, one more USB 2.0 port, as well as a USB 2.0 OTG port. Right beside the microSD card slot with support for up to 32 GB. Then there's a tiny recovery hole just in case something went wrong with the device. And last but not least, the AV port, the 3.5mm audio output. Very nice to have that one. The UT4 measures 115 by 115 by 20mm. Of course, we also have to take that Wi-Fi antenna into consideration. The mini PC isn't even that lightweight, I'm happy about that. I'm assuming it features better cooling. On the bottom there are 4 rubber feet and lots of ventilation holes. The Ugoos UT4 surprisingly boots up fairly quickly. We get to see the standard Android home screen, but if you so desire, you could also switch to the custom one Ugoos has designed. Almost no unneeded junk apps are pre-installed. The OS is very responsive, definitely much snappier than the previous Android mini PC I've reviewed. I didn't experience any hiccups here with this UT4. In terms of performance, I pretty much knew what to expect. In the Antutu benchmark, we're getting about 39,200 points. In Geekbench, about 2,700 in the multi-core test and 690 in single-core. Some of you have requested I should also run a 3D Mark test. So there you go, roughly 7,600 points in that one. So that's indeed a relatively powerful Android system, and that's very noticeable in games. Such run very smoothly without any laggy situations or random hiccups. I'm impressed. Since this is a stationary device, it doesn't come with all the sensors a mobile device is equipped with. Therefore, don't expect every game or app to run that relies on such sensors. Watching 1080p YouTube videos works fantastically, and I didn't experience any stuttering hiccups whatsoever. The UT4 is very quiet, despite having a fan inside of it to keep the temperatures low. The cooling performance is very good, I found out. Ugoos also lets the user customize some options the way the mini PC behaves. You, for instance, are given the option to turn the fan off, have it spin constantly, or leave it in auto mode. Then we can also display the CPU temperature, the load, change the power LED mode or disable it altogether. Very useful options indeed. The power consumption can be considered very low, so low in fact my watt meter has a bit of problems displaying the wattage. I'd say just 3 to 4 watts on idle, about 6 watts when watching a 1080p YouTube video, and roughly 7 watts while gaming. This mini PC supports 2K as well as 4K resolutions. I've connected the UT4 to my lovely ASO EV2750Q HD monitor, featuring a screen resolution of 2560 by 1440. Unfortunately, it seems that resolution for some reason isn't supported. Instead, it automatically goes for 1080p. But I'm not sure whether it's the device itself that's limiting that or the Android OS. The remote control has the right size to it, and the communication between the UT4 device and the remote control is quick and responsive. Unfortunately, there's no mouse mode or anything like that would allow us to navigate with buttons here. But admittedly, speaking from my experience, that feature wouldn't work well anyway. 2 AAA batteries are required for the remote, by the way. These are not included though. The already pre-installed music app is not the best, but it does its job well, and the audio quality through HDMI, as expected, is great. And the 3.5mm output also can be considered as good. Definitely not the best audio, but certainly okay. The Wi-Fi signal without the antenna is a bit weak at times, but once you attach the antenna, you get a good stable signal. The Ugoos UT4 is a very solid product after all. It offers decent performance, is aesthetically pleasing in my opinion, runs cool and quiet, and well, costs just around $105. Sure, not everyone may like the Android OS when it comes to mini PCs or TV boxes, but you can still do a lot with it. Definitely a great accessory for one's TV setup with lots of connectivity. As an Android device of this type, I'm very pleased with the results. Therefore, I can definitely recommend the Ugoos UT4 Android mini PC. I'm giving this one my silver award. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and visit my website to sometimes see videos there earlier.